Assalamu alaikum, students. Welcome back to part number 10 of this series over here, in which we are discussing the HTML with CSS and then now with PHP. And today we are going to talk on the database thing. Just to make this part 10 a little bit short, so the audience, so I have made this just for the database, and today I'm just going to add the data which we have done last time. If you remember, this was the HTML file, and our HTML file was looking something like this, and when we are going to submit this file after submission, our data was something like this. The only thing I have just changed apart from the last is actually this styling inside this one, which is just the width of the table. So otherwise nothing has been changed over there. Sorry, this has been changed in the action underscore C. So for the table, I have just changed this 100% over there. Otherwise, everything is exactly the same. So you can just send it and you can see now it's exactly the same. Now, today we talked about in the last part, up till this part, we made this table, and this table was made and this was displayed in our PHP file over there. Today we have to add this one into our database, and we are going to print this thing at the very end that the new record has been created or that has been added successfully. But before that, I want to actually go on towards a little few things of PHP which are very much important and they are required over there inside this thing. There will be a part 11 also, and that will be discussing the validation thing, because up till now, whatever data we are entering from this form and we are submitting it, we have some empty spaces. We don't know that the user has selected the color or not, they have written something or not. So we are not doing any validations. So in part number 11, I will do those validations from the PHP point of view, which are on the server side, and I will also do some validations on the JavaScript, which will be on the HTML side or the client side. So just for part 10, we are going to add this into our database. And for those of you who have still not yet made their database working, what I want from you is that if your XAMPP is working, so localhost slash PHP my admin, this should be visible to you. So this space should be visible to you. This is actually the interface, or you can call it the framework. So you can see the server is localhost, and this should be there after you have made your MySQL database running. And if you are on a Windows platform, you must have made your MySQL server running, which means that is in green color over there. So these should be running, and then afterwards, if you type in these words localhost slash php my admin, you will see your database over there. And on the left hand side, you can see over there will be some databases already there which are required for the XAMPP to operate. So we are not concerned with that. Here you can make a new database of your own over here by clicking this new button, and then we can go on. But before going on towards this database and all that thing, let's do something from the PHP, which is very much important and required for our work in the functions or the MySQL connection. Because up till now, if you remember HTML, we have done one thing, and then we added a CSS external file that was a totally different file, and then now we have added a PHP file which is totally different file over there. And now we are going towards the third part of this thing, that is actually the database. So before I go on to the database, if you remember in the last part, we have done from the PHP up till approximately the PHP constants over there. Oh, sorry, PHP maths over there, constants and magic constants. For the meanwhile, I have not discussed them or asked you not to do that one. So before I move on towards the other one, just a very fast run on all these things, because you already are familiar with your C language. So these are some PHP operators for which I just want to go through them, because these are the part of the PHP course. So this is very important. First of all, arithmetic operators, we all know it. If you want to have a variable that is saving some integer, float, or something value, remember one thing: PHP is a very loose language, which means that you don't define what type of variable you're defining. You don't tell it is int, you don't tell it is a string, you don't tell it is a float. You just define a variable, give it a value, it will automatically be assigned inside, and it will be automatically changed. But yes, you can do the casting and all that. I hope you remember it from the last part. So if you are doing some arithmetic operation, of course, on some int or float, then you have the addition operator, you have the subtraction, the multiplication by the asterisk sign, the division by the almost, the slash forward slash, the modulus, which means the remainder of the two variables over there, and then the exponentiation with the two statics over there. So this is simple alternative. You can go through all these of them and you can print out. For example, if you want to just go through this modulus over there, that is a remainder over there. So I have dollar x equal to 10 and I have dollar y is equal to 6. So of course, when I'm going to divide x by y, so my remainder is going to be 4, and that 4 is being displayed over there as echo dollar x divided by or modulus dollar y. So the modulus is being displayed over there. So the simple arithmetic operators, you can go through them yourself. It's very something very much preliminary. The next thing very important, because if you are going to do some assignment operators, we already know equal to is the assignment operator used in all of the languages. But here delta dollar x is equal to dollar y, which means that the value of y will be assigned to value of x, because the left operand is set to the value of the expression on the right. So the x is going to be assigned a value of I. Then I have dollar $x is equal to plus equal to. This means that this is equal to dollar $x plus y, just like C language over there. Nothing fancy, nothing change. It will first of all add and then assign. Here this will be subtract and then assign. Here it will multiply and assign, and here it will divide and assign, and then afterwards this is the modulus. So exactly the same things, just the assignment operator added with some syntax added over there so that this can be done. Then the very important, the comparison operator. These will become very, very handy when we are going to do some validations over there, because we want to compare some variables. If the password has been entered correct, or the name has been entered correct, or the name has some characters or something like that, then these comparison operators becomes very, very important. So if you want to compare two numbers, this is equal, which means if you are comparing two variables having dollar $x and dollar $y, then you can do that. If you want to compare them as identicals, now these two are something a little tricky part, so let's see them. What is this means? Dollar $x over here, if I just go through this one, dollar $x is 100 and 100. Now when you are going to compare these two, you can see over there dollar $x is equal to dollar $y. This returns true because these values are equal. Now you can see this is a number and this is a number string, but since they both are having the same value, because we don't have assigned them any number or any data type, so they are already are true. That's why it's displaying bool or true, which means that yes, they are equal, because they are actually equal. If you are going to compare them, or you're going to take them as a number casting as int over there. But when you are going to compare them as, let's see, where is the, sorry, I have actually gone a little up. Okay, so if I want to compare this identical, then now this is going to be false, because now they are not identical, because they, one is of them is an int, other one is a numeric string, other one is a number. So there, of course. So I hope so you have got the idea. If you have 3 equals to, this means you are actually going to compare their types as well, which means the data types as well and their values as well. But if you are just going to have 2 over there, it's going to actually typecast it equal as a number and then going to spaces. But supposingly if you have like something 100 is something like that, of course then it is going to be false over there, and it should be false. It's going to take time, you can see it's false. So of course if there is a number string or numeric string, then of course it's going to be true if they both have the same thing. So I hope you have got the idea of this 3 equals to something. Then of course not equal to, just like C language, if the two are not equal to, not equal can also be done by these two symbols, that is the angular brackets over there, this one. And then not identical, now this is again exactly the same thing, just like equal and identical, this is not identical. So this is again exactly the same thing. You can kindly go through this, try it over here. Then greater than, less than, greater than, equal to, less than or equal to. And then the last thing which is very important, this is spaceship. This is returns an integer less than or equal to and greater than 0, depending on if dollar $x is less than, equal to, or greater than. And this has been introduced in PHP 7. Just for you, because we have not introduced in the very start, PHP at present is going at version number 8.3, and the version which I am using, I guess, is approximately also 8.3 or 8.4. So this is exactly okay, because nowadays websites or any server, they almost have something more than PHP 7, so this is already going to be there. So let's see what is this spaceship does. So let's see this example on W3. So I have now two variables, 5 and 10. So if I do this thing, spaceship, this will return -1, because dollar $x is less than dollar $y, because 5 is of course less than 10, so this will be returning -y. So it's just like a binary kind of a relationship. it tells you that it is smaller or greater. So you know the answer already. It's just like you are going to compare one number with another. So if the two are two equal, then of course it will be zero, and you can see it's zero. Then you have 15 and 10. Of course, $x is then greater than 10. So this is going to be always one. So I hope so. You got the idea. The spaceship over there, this variable, is used whenever you are comparing two numbers. You can easily tell it's smaller, equal, or greater. So it can easily tell you. So this spaceship comes in very, very handy when you're actually going to take some bind or some logical input or input, maybe some value from the user, supposedly some passing marks for some criteria or something like that, and you have some value coming from an HTML form or some word calculation over there. So this comes in very, very handy if you have to actually find out it's smaller, greater, or equal to that particular limit over there. So this is actually the comparison operators over there. Then you have the increment and decrement operators, which work in the very same fashion. Here you are going to increment first, and then you are going to assign it. So this means that is pre-increment. Again, this is post-increment. So this is going to return delta x, then increment it. Just to give you an idea, this variable is 10. So this will be echoing 10 first, and then afterwards it will be adding 2 over there. So this means that now this time if I echo $x over there, and now this time this will be 10 and 11. Now they are printed side by side because I have not put a line break over there. So if you want to enter a line break over there, so this will be let me just add it over there. I guess it should be running. I hope so. This is not a syntax error over there. Okay, so it's not actually going to be using that line break over there. So I have to actually use that because this is a addition operator. So this means that if I have to actually do it, I have to actually do something like this. So I hope you are getting the idea what I'm doing over there. Oh, sorry. So like this. So I have now, this will be on the next line. It will be actually, so this you can see 10 and 11. So it is actually going to print first and then increment it one time. And then afterwards, a line break is being added over there. So whenever you are doing this incrementing, post and pre-incrementing, then you can't actually use this BR or line breaks or HTML tags inside it. So this is something like this. So just same for the negative. I guess nothing fancy over there. It's almost pre-explanation. So in the logical operators, we already are familiar with this one. The and, or, XOR, and the or and the not one over there. They come in very handy if you are trying to find out a Boolean result over there. So let's say if I just want to try about this or over there. So this is that or. So I have two variables 150. So if $x is equal to 100 or $y is equal to 80, so of course this is going to be true. So the hello world is going to be printed over there. But if I were going to be having an and symbol over there, let's say, so this will be not printing anything over there because it's false, because both have to be true if I have to do that one. So I hope this is completely true. So this is logical operators. Then coming on to the string operators, we have the dot operator. I told you in the last part that this concatenation is going to be done if you are going to have the concatenation of two variables over there, or two text variables you can call it. And then this is actually called as this is going to append, which means you are going to have the dot and equal to, which means just like the plus equal to, which was this operator over there. Mm, this one. So this was actually going to first of all add and then assign it. So it's exactly the very same thing this is going to be done over there in this string operator. It's going to append text2 to text1, and then it's going to, so let's see what is happen. Let's just see the example. So I have a text1 as hello and text2 as world. So text1 is equal to something, and afterwards it's going to be dollar text1. So this is hello world. So I can add any something spaces. Remember, this is not HTML, so of course these spaces will be treated as one character. So this should be printed actually. Why they are not printing? Actually, yes, because they are being echoed towards the HTML. That's why they are not being printed. Remember one thing: if this was going to be uh, something else language, they would be printed. But since there are spaces over there, and since this is the HTML document, so spaces are not going to be printed over there. My bad. Sorry, my mistake. It should be, so this only one space will be printed over there. The remaining spaces will not be presented over there. So I hope this concatenation assignment and concatenation is there. And then the array operators, which are very, very important, because whenever you are going to compare two arrays or array structures over there, then these things very come in common. So let's see, I want to talk about this identity, which means what the identical thing. So if I'm talking about this identity, let's see this example. um, yes, my internet is gone a little slow at present. So, okay, so I have now two variables, $x, $y. One array is having, now this is a different array, so be very careful here. This array is not just like any C language array we have been doing or you have been doing up till now in C language, because arrays are always indexed, which means they start from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, whatever the length of that array. Here, this is called an associative array, which means there is a key and it has a value. It is a key, it is a value. Normally, the arrays which you have done in your C language, they have been tasked as index array, which means this is 0, red, 1, green, then 2, some value. If this was, I'm going to have another value over there. Here, this is an associative array. I will come back to it later on. So array C here, blue, T is yellow. So now what is going to happen? Variable dump $x is going to be identical to Y. No, this is not identical to Y, because this is something different, this is something different, this is something different, this is something different. So the keys and their values are totally different, so this is going to return false. So this is not going to be it. So returns true if the $x have the same key or value pairs. Remember, this is same key or value pairs in the same order and of the same type. So this is not going to work if this is going to be work on the array over there. Then of course add inequality over there if you want to compare two arrays over there. So again, this is going to be true. Why? Because this over here is inequality, this is unequal, so of course this is going to be true. Then inequality can also be done by these two angular brackets over there and the tags over there. And then the non-identity, just like this thing. So non-identity is something like this, so it will be returning true or false. Let's see that example as well. So of course this is true. Why? Because this is not equal to. So this is going to be, because if this was somehow this was equal to this thing, so this means I am trying to find it. This will be false, because these two arrays, they are associative arrays. Their key and value. This is key, this is value, this is key, this is value, this is key, this is value, this is key, this is value. So these are totally different. I will come back to this array operators in the next part a lot when I'm going to do some validations on some arrays. So that will be very important over there. The last thing, very, very important, is the ternary operator. And I will not discussing this null coalescing, because this is a little different and it will be not used in our course up till now. So I'm just going to talk about this ternary operator, which is exactly just like a if else statement. And this is something very easy, nothing fancy, nothing problematic. You have an echo dollar status equal to empty dollar user. So here, if empty is user is true, then set status equal to anonymous. So what is going to happen if dollar status is going to be equal to this thing? Okay, so it's going to be, the question mark actually tells you that this is going to be anonymous or it's going to be logged in. So these are the two results. Actually, these are the two results which will be assigned to the status over there, and it's going to be printed over there echo. So it's going to be assigned over there. So this status is going to be either anonymous or it's going to be logged in. So here what is going to happen, this is an empty dollar user over there, and it's going to tell it over there. So if empty user is equal to true, so if this is going to be true, then anonymous is going to be assigned. If this is going to be false, then logged in going to be assigned. So here next thing, dollar user is going to be equal to, so this empty is a function and it is trying to find out that this variable is empty or not. It has been assigned some value or not. So here this is empty, of course it's empty, so it's true. So that's why this value is assigned to status. I'm again repeating, this is very important operator, that is ternary operator. So just see this line over there. Let me just show this line separately. So this is echo command, and it's going to echo or print this variable, and this variable is going to be equal to either this variable or this inverted double quotes over there. So what is going to happen is, this is a function, and this function is going to be doing empty on a variable dollar user, because dollar user has not been assigned any value. So this is not there, so it is not there. So this means this is empty, it's not there, dollar user. So this means it will be true. So question mark means that this thing is being questioned over there, and if it is true, this is the value, and This is if it is not true, which means that if it is false, then it will be this thing. So it's just like this thing, that if this thing turns out to be true, whatever that condition may be, then this happens, else this happens. So it's just like an if else statement given just in one line whole, using the ternary operator, using this question mark and this colon symbol over there. But afterwards, after doing this echo over there, now you have the uh, dollar user assigned as some value, and then this time you are going to do this thing. Now this is not empty, this means now it is going to be logged in. So that's why you are getting this thing. Now if supposingly, let's say, I have made this variable on here as well, now both will be logged in because both variables are there now. And even let's see what happens if I have a variable and if it is empty, which means it has nothing over there. Now you can see it is empty, so that's why it is anonymous. I hope you're getting the point what is being done by this ternary operator and this empty function. So this empty function is a lot important when you're going to do this or use this in your validations in your PHP as well. So this ternary operator will be very much important, because if the value coming from your HTML forms is empty, then you are going to assign some value that the user has not entered something. Or if it is not empty, then you will allow that value to go on as itself. Now that will be a totally different thing. We will talk about this in the next part, but this is a ternary operator being used over there, and this ternary operator is using this expression over there. Next thing over there, that is again exactly the same thing. I'll just go on a very fast way because I don't want this lecture to be very long. This is the PHP if-else statement. You already are familiar with this if-else statement. I don't need to go in very much detail. You already know if this is just numeric values over there. Of course, 5 is greater than 6, so this will be different over there. If you want to compare some variable, so this is $t less than 20. Of course, it's less than 20, so this will be having a good day. If you want to go towards the if operators over there, you can use the same operators which we have done up till now in the last just this operator thing: equal, identical, not equal, not identical, greater than, less than, or all these operators over there. We have just gone through them. So you can apply the logical operators as well, that is the and or over there between two three different statements over there. So you can apply all of these over there. And similarly, if you want to add an else, again else is conditional, so this is the else part, and this is going to be if you want to add that. Supposedly, if you want to add that, so if $t is less than 20, now this is something that's tricky part. Output, have a good day. If the current time is less than 20, have a good night otherwise. So this means this is going to be $t is going to be date h. Now what is h over there? H is the r, and date is a function. Remember, date here is a function from PHP, and here this is h. H stands for r. So if my at present, because I'm recording this at approximately 10:40, you can see over here at 40 p.m., which is approximately on a 24-hour scale as approximately as 22. So this means that 22 is going to be greater than that. So this means I am going to get have a good day over there. So why let's confirm this out. Date in H, and H is have this should be have a good night. Okay, sorry. I guess this is taking from the server. This is not taking my, because the server is from the w3schools.com, and of course this server will be somewhere in US. That's why it's going to take this H from a different one. Otherwise, if it would have been taking my PHP server on my local server over there on my local machine, then it would be different. Please kindly try this one on your PCs and try to see that this gives you a good night or something like that, because this is going to compare with 20, because 20 means 8 o'clock, and at present I am at 10:41. So this should be working, giving you a good night at present, because I'm recording this one at 10:40 p.m. approximately, which is almost night time. So this is the if else statement, and you can add if else, if else just like C language, and you can add a lot amount of if else statements over there. Nothing fancy, nothing changing, so you can do over there. Next thing, shorthand, which is actually just the same thing. If you want to add a shorthand over there, so write a shorter code of if else statement. You have $a equal to 5. If this, $b is equal to this, and that's all. So this is a shorthand of if over there. And if you want to get a shorthand of if else, which is exactly the ternary operator, I have already told you that $b is equal to either $a. This is the condition which you have to evaluate. And if it is true, then it will be hello. If it is false, it will be goodbye. So this means $A, if it is less than 10, then, and if I have 13, 13 is of course not less than 10, it's greater than 10. So this is not true. So this means goodbye will be answer. Let's see what is the answer over there. Yes, goodbye. So you can see over there, this is the same ternary operator I just told you just now and explained it. I hope you can understand by this example a little bit more that you are comparing this expression, and this expression, if it turns out to be true, then hello will be assigned to $B. If not, then goodbye will be assigned. So this is a very simple ternary operator being used, and this is a shorthand of if else statement. Nothing fancy, nothing changed over there. Then last thing, very important, nested if. You can have nested ifs just like your C language, nothing fancy over there. $A, you can have it shorthand over there. So you can increase with nested ifs over there. So this is very simple if else statements. You already are familiar from your C language. The next thing is the switch statement, and it works exactly the same just like your C language over there. And I will just give you through one example over there. So this is one example. You can see dollar favorite color is equal to red, and this is going to switch with dollar favorite color. It's going to check that variable case brackets so inverted commas red. If it is red, then this will be printed. If it is blue, this will be printed. If this is green, this will be printed. And by default, if nothing goes on, then your favorite is neither blue nor red green. So here this is red over there, so that's why your favorite color is red. Let's say if I add a simple value over there, so the last one that is going to be default is going to be printed. Your favorite color is not the red, blue, green, because my favorite color was equal to reddy, which is actually not a color, but just I added a over there. So this is, and switch statement always has to start with this curly parenthesis over there or curly brackets. So this has to be done. So switch statement comes in very handy, of course, when you are going to take in data from the user or some form, and you have some assigned values. Okay, what has to be printed? Let's say supposingly, if someone has, you want to go it with the favorite color over there, someone has selected blue, someone has selected red, someone has selected pink or something like that, and based on that color you want to decide, okay, you want to change based on that favorite color. Let's say you want to decide what is going to be presented in the form, so you have to use the switch statements over there. So this comes in very important. Then very, very important, the break keyword. And this is something very, very important. If you want to use the break keyword, the break keyword is used over there. Here you can see what is going to happen. If I'm not going to write down a break below this thing, then red and blue, they both are going to be presented over there. And you can see over there. So what is going to happen? You can see two things are being presented, because whenever red is going to be done, case red is going to be run, which is this thing, and but there is no break. That's why case blue also run, and then there is a break. So what is missing over there is actually a break statement. So when this break is there, then only one statement will be run. So this, don't miss this break statement. So break statement also breaks any loops over there. We just get back to the loops, and I will discuss this thing later on. So this is something very important, so don't do this one. Then PHP default keyword, or this default is something, the word which is exactly going to give it, but any of the case does not work, then this runs over there. And then you can combine the cases over there. You can have this $D over there, so you can combine many cases like 1 2 3 4 5. All these five will work in the field week so long, the week feels so long. So this is going to be working over there. So like for 5 cases, this will be printed. For these 2 cases, this is the thing. And if nothing works over there, then this will be printed. So you can combine the switch statement, just works like exactly like the C language over there. The only thing I guess the change is this is a dollar symbol over there. Otherwise it's exactly the same. Now the most important thing which I want to discuss over there is actually the loops and the arrays. Now the loops also works with the exactly same thing over there. The while loop, this for loop, exactly less like C language over there, nothing fancy over there. You can use the addition operator in the while loop over there, the condition between the two parentheses over there, and you can use the break statement. Now this is something very important. This is the while loop from here till here, but if the condition is met, then you break the loop. What will happen? The loop will be broken. It will not run then. So you can see over there what happens. Here you are having $I less than 6. It is at 1. So $I is less than 6. So it will continue to run up till that point when I variable is less than 6. So what happens if I variable is equal to 3? Break it. No, it does not break. Why? Because it's still not equal to 3. So what happens? Echo $I. So what happens over there? This statement does not run. Then echo $I over here. This becomes equal to, first of all, 1 is printed. 1 is printed over there. This 1 is being printed from there. Then afterwards you get incrementing the variable I, that is $I over there. So that becomes now 2. Now when that becomes equal to 2 over there, so then afterwards again this loop runs from here, and again it checks, okay, this is not there, so this will be again not presented because it's not equal to 3. Then afterwards this will be printed, so now this will be 2 is printed. Then afterwards 2 becomes $I becomes 3. Now this goes on towards the top of the loop again. Now this time 3 is equal to 3, break. This means the loop will be broken. So now this will be, now if this break was not there, let's say this was equal to something like 6 over there. Let's say not 6, actually 6 will be actually the whole thing. So now this time this will be printing 1, 2, 3. You can see now. And since I'm not putting any line breaks over there, that's why they are printing in the same over there with no spaces or anything like that. But if I had done something like this over there, let's say like this over there, and so then this will be in 3 different lines over there, 1, 2, 3 vertically going down. So I hope you are getting the idea what does the break word do. Then if you want to do the continue statement, that is with the continue statement, we can skip the current iteration and continue with the next. So this means that whenever this condition will be met, the remaining part of that loop will not be done and it will be taken on to the first part. That is the first line. So here when this will be $I will be equal to 3, which means it's going to start from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 6 times this loop will be run. So when it is going to happen, when this is going to be 3, that will not be printed over there. So this will be happening, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but 3 is missing. Why? Because this was the condition. So what has happened? Continue was the word used over there. That's why this was skipped at that time. So again, from here, it went to the first line. So you have the break, which totally break off the loop wherever it is. And then you have continue, which skips the below part over there. Then the alternative text is also there. If you can see over there, exactly the while loop can also be written over there. And that is using the end while, which means instead of putting the curly brackets, you have the while statement, and then you have this colon symbol, and then at the end while with this thing. So this is actually just like the while statement, but without the curly brackets. Exactly the same thing, nothing fancy. So you are having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the variables being represented. So if this was from 0 to like so this will be like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess this will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can see 6 times it's running over there. So it's exactly the same thing, just a different syntax for while loop. Otherwise, nothing changed apart from that. So if you want the while loop to count to 100, but only by each 10, you can increase the counter by 10 instead. I guess this is nothing fancy. So this is, you are actually just adding it by 10. You already know that. So you are going to print 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. And then these all will be printed in vertically one line. You can see over there. So this is being present because you are adding first and then printing it. That's why 0 is not printed. Otherwise, if you are doing to print it first, let's say if I wanted to print it first and then add it, now this time it will be, you can see 0 to 90. So it's over there. Just like C language, nothing fancy, nothing changed. The only thing changed is over there. The next thing is a little variation is a do while loop. You already have gone through this thing. Here the condition is at the very end, so nothing changed over there. Do, brackets open, loop is run, the condition is met. If condition is still fulfilled, goes back, tries again. And so this one works like this. You can see again, just simply same thing. Instead of the usual thing, you have the, you're starting from 1, and again this time 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are printed. And if you are starting from 0, then this is going to be printing from 0 to 5 over there. So same thing, nothing. So just different do while loops or while loops syntaxes over there. The break statement works exactly the same, just like the previous one. I'm not going to go through that. And you have the continue statement, exactly the same thing. You want to skip the lower portion, which is this echo over there, and this will print over there, and it will not print actually the 3 over there. So if this is going to be 3 over there, the next two very important, that is the for loop statement, and you already have using this for loop statement up till now. For loop over here, $x is equal to 0, $x after this colon condition colon, and then the increment. So just like C language over there. So let's just see an example over there. So you can see you have the number is $x over there, and you are having this $x equal to 10, and $x is equal to greater than or equal to 0, and here you are decrementing it. So first of all, 10 will be printed, 9, 8, 6, 7, 4, 5, 3, 2, 1, and 0, because 0 will be printed because the condition will be met afterwards, so it will be cut off. So this will be printed 11 times. Otherwise, if it was equal to or I guess greater than 0 and not equal to, then it will be only printed 10 times, from 10 to I guess 1. So you can see over there. So exactly the same thing for loop, nothing fancy, nothing changed. We have a decrease counter variable. Again, you can run on the break statement. Remember, break and continue statement, they are going used to be used inside your for loop, while loop, do loop, everywhere. So if this is there, break, and everything inside that loop will be gone. Same gone for the continue statement. Continue means that you are going to continue the remaining portion of that loop and skip this line over there. So this means the number is, this will be missed over there. Just again a reminder, you can see 3 is not printed over there. Why? Because this was equal to this, and continue means that this portion or this line that was the only line remaining in that loop is missed over there. Then afterwards, you go to the step 10. You can see over there, you can count to 10 over there. You are adding 8 by 10 over there. So no change over there. I guess there's something you can go through these examples over there. Very important, which is importantly used in our code, is this for each loop, and we have used this previously. Now before I go on towards this for each loop, I want to go towards the array, and I want you to see this indexed array first. In indexed array over there, you can see whenever you are defining an array in PHP, either you are going to use this array word with brackets open, and inside it, either it's going to be string, it's going to be some numbers or some data, something like that. So here you are going to print these three values of this array. So when this variable is going to be printed, you can see now it's an array, 3 values. 0 is the index, 1 is the index, 2 is the index. So at 0 index, it's a string with 5 characters, and that is Volvo. And that one index position, you have 3 characters, that is BMW. And then at 2 index position, you have a 6 string character, or 6 character, sorry, string, that is Toyota. So this is one way. This is the indexed array. Remember one thing, and you can, just like your C language, you can go and print out with your angular, or sorry, rectangular brackets, using either the index number, that is 0. So 0 corresponds to Volvo, this will be Volvo printed. If you want to have 1, then this will be BMW printed. If you have 2 over there, this will be Toyota printed. So you can access, and then similarly you can change any data, just like your C language. Remember, the only thing between C and Java, or C and PHP over here, is going to be this dollar symbol. Otherwise, exactly the same thing. So you can go through the loop through using your for each loop. Now this for each loop comes in over here. Now this is something very important. You can see over there, what is this? This is a variable array, Volvo, BMW, and Toyota. So this is over here, array, Volvo, BMW, Toyota. Now here I want to loop through all of these variables, or all of these values inside this array. So this means for each, which means that I am going to give that array in this parenthesis as $x. Now this $x is a variable which I'm going to use inside the loop. So what is going to happen for each, I'm going to go through from start till the end, that is $cars. $cars is an array as $x. So this means echo $x with line break. So what will happen? This $x will be printing Volvo, BMW, Toyota. So what has happened? Let's see over here in this example. So you can see Volvo, BMW, Toyota being printed. And over here, let's say I have something, maybe a Honda, and then I have a Suzuki. So I have this 2, 3 variables being added, sorry, values being added inside the array. So all of these will be now printed. So whatever the length of the array, this loop for each, as the word suggests, for each, that will be printed over there. So you can see this is going. Now this is for the indexed array. Same thing is going to happen for the associative array. Now what is an associative array? As I told you, in associative array, you have a key, and then there is a value. There is a key, there is a value. There is a key, there is a value. Now in this associative array, key is brand, value is Ford. Key is model, value is Mustang. Key is year, 1964. Now when this is going to be printed, you can see now instead of 0 over there, you have the word. Previously it was 0. Then it was 1. Now this is 2. This is an associative. Here you associate. Previously it was just 0, 1, 2 as the index over there. Now this time it is the key over there, that is brand, model, or year. So that's why when you are printing it, this is something like this. And very importantly, when you want to go towards the for each, let's just go through the, yes, this one, this example, which is our example over there, that is array, brand, again something like that. And for each, what I'm now doing over there, now you can see here, previously it was just $x and it was index. Now this time, this $x, now this symbol which is here, this symbol is over here, is the key pair relationship, which means over here that in dollar cars, $x is the key, $y is the pair, oh sorry, the value. So $x is the key, this is the value. So here echo $x colon $y br. So what is going to happen? $x value, whatever that first value, it is going to be the brand, $y Ford, then model Mustang. And this is exactly the same thing you are doing inside your HTML, sorry, action.php code. Let's see, go back on the action.c over there. And here what you are doing, $_post was an associative array just over there as $key, and this symbol with equal to and that relationship, this is actually a key value. So they are both linked with each other. So this is the key, this is the value. And here inside your row, when your data has to be presented, so this is the key, which is actually the variable name, whatever is coming from the HTML form. That form was, value was, let's go back on over there, that was the name XYZ, M name, L name, PWD, birthday, name city, name over here, name city, or name edu, that all values were coming over there. So all these values, this will be printed the variable name, this will be the value which is stored inside that. So that's why this is the key, this is the value. That's why you can use any other word. There is no reason if you want to use the keyword or not. I can use A and I can use B. So it's totally up to me. So this is not something fixed. This is just to understand that over there. So this is same over there. And if I now go back on my, sorry, the page, and this was the form submitted, let's just refresh it. And again, it's printed exactly the same. So no change over there. And if you just want to confirm it, I just submit the value and this still present working. So that key and word is just a variable name. So don't confuse yourself. So this is just an associative array, $_post, because these are the variables inside this array which are being formed from that form.html file, and they are coming inside this action ._c.php using the method post. They are going towards a blank page and they are going towards this PHP files. Inside this PHP file, the associative array is $_post, and you are using it as $A as key, $B as the value. So this is key, this is value, and they are being printed over there inside your HTML file. This is the key, this is the value, this is the key, this is the value, this is the key, this is the value, this is the key. Again, since this is empty, so because we are not having any validations over there. So this is our same thing. So for each works over there. Then you can go through this one. You can create arrays as well. You can use the word array we have just used over there, or you can use this curly brackets just like your C language. So you can use this over there, or you want to use this multiple lines as well. So both of them can work, or you can use this trailing comma as well, just like this trailing commas over there. So this is over there like this, and you can have this at the end also, that is also allowed, so that will not be any problem over there. But don't miss this semicolon at the end. PHP at every line and it has to have that semicolon at the very end. Similarly, if you want to index it using this something like this over there, which means 0, and here this means this is the key, this is the value, this is the key, this is the value. But since this is an indexed array where you have the values as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, so that's why this is not in double quotes or single quotes, because otherwise if it was something like this, then this would be key, this is the value, this is the key, this is the value, this is the key, this is the value. So this is something like this. Plus you can also declare an empty array, which is $car is equal to an empty array, and afterwards add values inside it. That is also possible over there. And similarly you can do it for the associative array, where instead of 0, 1, 2, you are finding out the key, brand, here. And what is going to happen now, we are going to take these values and store them inside database over there. And one thing very important, please kindly go through this array items accessing and all that, removing all that. It's a very simple items over there, but they are much required for your validation whenever you're going to do some validations on your data. But before, I want to move on towards the database, so that's very important. Now mixing array keys over there, if you want to mix some array keys over there, that is over here in array. And here the first thing is an index 0, then 1, and then fruit. Now fruit is a associative, so this means you are mixing indexed and associative or named keys. So this is totally workable. So you can see when you are printing that my array, so this is in 3 level array. You have at 0 string having apples. At number 1 position you have 7 character string, that is bananas, and then you have an associative array which has a key fruit instead of 2, and that has 8 character string, that is cherries. So this is also possible, but we normally not using that one. We always have keys and something coming on from the HTML forms over there. So this is the arrays. When we go through this thing, the SS array items, the update array items, the remove array items, and sorting array is not that important for us, but kindly go through this access array items, update array items over there. Then coming on to after this loops over there, we have gone through this loops, I have gone through this break statement and the continue statement. We already know how this break statement and continue statements work over there. So now let's go on towards the MySQL and how you are going to add this one. So if you scroll down below, you have the MySQL database. Now, if you click on this MySQL database, and our course does not go in very depth over there of the MySQL, so we don't need to go on towards the MySQL and all that stuff over there. But what we only want to do it that I want to add some values inside our database, and for that purpose, I want to connect first of all to my database. And for that purpose, there are two different or three different ways to connect it. The first connection is my SQLi extension. The other one is the PHP data objects, which I'm not going to use them today because that's a little difficult over there. So it's totally up to you. Uh, I am going to use these either object oriented or procedural over there. I will show you both of them over there inside this one. After you have the MySQL installation, and here in my case, MySQL is installed because localhost slash PHP my admin tells you the database is there. And inside this database, I have a database called as AICT. Now, this is an AICT database, and inside it, I have AICT result, data of students, forms, and test over there. So these are tables over there. Now, if let's say I want to make a new database, let me call this as test over there. So I just call create database called as test. Let's just create it. Now, when I'm creating a test database, here I am just using, now this is a nomenclature that what type of symbols or variables I'm going to use inside it. So here I'm just going to use UTF-8 MB4 underscore general underscore CI. So don't need to change inside it, but just for the information, you can see there are different languages: Spanish, Slovakian, Turkish, Unicode, and all that. So I'm just going to go with this one. Just remember this thing, and every time whenever you are using it, because this is not going to go for the professional purposes, so just always use this UTF-8 MB4 underscore general underscore CI created. And okay, test already is created, so let me just use test 3 over there because test is already there. So test 3 I have created. So now what happens inside test 3, it's empty. It does not have any table inside it. Now, what's first thing very important? I want to connect to my database. For that purpose, the first thing I have to do it, I have to connect it using some username or password or something like that. Now, for that purpose, if you see over there, whenever I want to do a username or password, remember one thing. Inside PHP, I have to first of all make a variable name, and inside it, I have to tell it, okay, where that server is. If it is some IP address, I will have to give some IP address over there. If it is some username, I will have to give some username over there. If it has some password, I have to give them password and a database name also. Okay. And for that purpose, inside my code over there, if I just scroll down now, I remember one thing, this code over there, which I'm highlighting at present, please copy this code every time. I'm not going to discuss this over there because if I you want to display all the errors, now PHP is a server side error language over there, so they never display the errors by default. So if you want to display those errors because you are not in production at present, you are just implementing it, learning it. So this will display all the errors. Otherwise, the errors will not be displayed to you. So you don't want to need to be displaying it to the user, whoever is inputting the data in your database. So please always initialize all the display errors over there whenever you are in production, so that will actually display all the errors. Otherwise, PHP will not display the errors. Next thing, $server name. Again, a variable name in which I have written it localhost because my server is local, because I am on my computer, on my laptop at present. So this is a localhost. Username, just like any username of your Facebook account, Instagram, or something, is root. Again, it's the root directory. So that's why it's root. This can be changed. Maybe in the next video, I will tell you how this can be changed. Password is empty, not even a space, nothing, empty. Database name is AICT. Now, AICT over there, if I go back on over there inside this one, let's go in over there. AICT was a database, and I click it. I have forms over there. I have a test over there or something. And what I was doing it inside this forms table, I was entering all this data: middle name, first name, CNIC number, city, anything. Now, just for you people, I'm going to make a new database. Let's say test three, and inside this test three, I'm going to make a. So for test three, let's say inside this one here inside, instead of AICT, I'm going to call it test 3. And after test 3, now the important thing comes. Here over there, you can see what I'm doing. I am taking off all the values from the associative array using its key and storing that very value inside another variable. Why? Because that is inside the RAM. Remember, $_post is still inside the RAM. So I'm taking those values and taking it inside another variable, which is still in the RAM, nothing, no fancy. But having this variable now means that now I can use this variable in my code of SQL, and I can print anything over there and I can store it. So for that purpose, here what I'm doing over there, I'm just using the variable names, that is f name, m name, l name, just same variables name, nothing fancy. You can have it 1, 2, 3 or ABCD or something like that, any variable name. So I have just taken those variable names, taken it from the associative array, move those values inside over there, and now I'm going to use all of these and these four variables just to connect to my database. But before that, in test 3, I have to make a table. And for that purpose over there, very importantly, first of all, I have to make a table. Okay. Remember one thing, this course does not go in the SQL syntaxing over there or the SQL commands over there. The SQL commands are totally different something. I'm not going to go. So here I'm going to make a table name. Let's say that table name is the forms. Let's say again it's forms over there. Let's say I'm taking a forms. How many columns I want? Now this is something very important. Now if I go back on my data, which I have to put it on, I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 10 things over there. Okay? I have a message, I have a favorite color, I have a city, I have a birth date, I have a PWD, a password, I have a last name, middle name, something like that. So let's see. Instead of having all these values, and just to keep this video simple, small, I just add like something like 5 columns. Okay, 5 column data, or let's make it 6 over there. I will tell you why I'm making this 6. Now, when I'm going to make this 6 and I call create, press on this create button. When I press on this create button, you can see now what is happening over there. I have 5 different rows over there, and here I have to first of all give the name of that. Then I have to tell the type, which means either it's int, small int, big int, decimal, float, bit, boolean, date, timestamp, whatever over there. So now over here, the first thing, very important, because the first thing is going to be added over there. Normally, every time, every table should have a primary key. Now, what is a primary key? This is something very, very important. Primary key means, because whenever a person is going to submit this form, first name can be same. There can be many Arslans. Middle name can also be same. Someone may be having an A same name. Last name can also be same for any other 2 or 3 people who are going to submit this form. CNIC is something which can be different for everyone. Yes, of course it can be different, and it will be always different. But just for now, let's suppose CNIC is not there. City can also be same, because Lahore, Karachi, everyone can be there. Education, of course, can be having the same thing. Car owned can be same thing. Favorite colors can be. Everyone may be having not writing something. But normally, if your form does not have any unique item, remember, if your item does not have, if your form data does not have any unique item, then you are going to make a value here. And let's say I just call it an ID. And inside this over here, I'm going to call it an int. Now, when I'm going to call it as int, what is an int and how much space is going to take? For this purpose, I have this link open in front of me. If you see this table over there, I will share this link with you, and this is the link over there. You can go on the uh, w3schools.com as well, and here you can find out in MySQL data types as well. The data and everything is written over there as well in this whole table over there, but it's more tabular form in this link over there. That's why I'm using this one. You can see over there, if I'm using a tiny int, then storage bytes is 1, which means 8 bits. That's why it's going from minus 188 to 127, which means the maximum value. So if it's an unsigned, it's going to have a 255. And I hope you are agreed on it. If you have an 8-bit number, the maximum value unsigned can be 255. And that is completely true because 1 byte means 8 bits. Then, if you have a small int, then 2 bytes, which means 16 bits. 16 bits have an unsigned value of 65535. If you have a medium int, then 3 bytes, which means 3 into 8, 24 bits. This is the value. If you have an int, which means storage bytes is 4, then you have a minimum value of signed something from here to here. And if you have an unsigned value, this something. But of course, our form is not going to be that much long, having this much value. So if I even use a small int, if I use a medium int, they are still enough for me. But just for the sake of it, if I want to tell it, okay, how many bytes I'm going to use over there. So let's say I just call it 2 bytes over there. So for this int over there, ID over there. Now ID is not a value in my table, but what I'm going to do, see this very carefully. Int over here, and here I just call it 2 bytes. Okay, and default, now this is something a default, and here it is asking me, I want this ID equal to null or current underscore time span. No, I don't want any of these value. Null means it will be totally empty. Current underscore time stamp, that when this value will be updated, it will take that timestamp over there. So I don't want that one happen. Collation means if I want something different in this column, no, I don't want it. I want every table to be something like this. So I'm not going to select anything. Attributes, I don't want anything over there because it's not going to be unsigned or something or over there, binary or something like that, nothing fancy. Index over there. Now, this is something very important. Now, before clicking on anything over there, I'm going to checkbox this thing. Now, as soon as I will checkbox, this AI is not the artificial intelligence. This AI means auto increment. So when I will click this thing, you can see it has already selected primary. Now, what this auto increment means? Now, this column called as ID is going to take the value automatically incremented without any updation, which means that this column, I'm not going to even send a data. It will automatically auto increment it starting from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is over there. So this is just a unique ID. You can add a comment over there as well. The next of the columns over there, virtuality, move column, media type, and all that, I'm not concerned with that because I'm not putting any digital information or something like that. So the only things which are important are these 4 or 5 different columns over there. Next thing after the ID. Now remember, this ID is not going to be sent from my PHP file. It's going to be just there for my data. That is for the numbering, or just like a serial numbering of my data, whatever is entering. Next thing, very important. Let's say I just want to add a first name. Now, this, of course, this is not going to be int. So here, this is going to be equal to a variable character. And what is variable character over here? Let me just go through this one. String data types. In string data types over there, over here, you can see a character. This character can go from again 0 to 255. Default is 1, which means again, this is going to be 1 byte over there. So this is going to be character. So this is going to be storing one character over there. Then there is variable character, and size over here corresponds to how many, the size parameter specifies the maximum column length in characters. So how many characters I want to store. So I'm normally going to use this variable character because it's a name. It will be having some space maybe, but this is just a first name over there. So it will be variable character over there. So what I'm going to call it, it's going to be just variable character. You can use any of these ones. Yes, of course, I'm going to use this long text. It will hold a string with maximum length because that form, this form over there, where I have asked someone to write something about it. Supposedly someone wants to write like 100 lines on that one. That will be a lot amount of data. For that purpose, I will be requiring a lot amount of that. That case, I will be using a long text over there. So I'm going to use that. But here at present for first name, I'm getting variable character. And let's say the maximum name, someone is supposedly coming from even Egypt or someone, and it's having a very long name. So let's say just is 30 characters. 30. The rest of the characters empty because I don't want it to be auto incremented. It can't be auto incremented because this is a variable character. And you can see this is not checkable. The next thing, after first name, let's say I just want to have the last name. Skip the middle name at present just for the sake of uh, saving time at present. Last name, let's say again, it's also 30. Let's say. Now, before I move on, let's add anything more values over there. Let me just add some more values over there. Apart from first name, this is the first name, this is the last name. Let's say I want to add the birthday. Now, birthday is something, a date over there. So let's say I want to add that birthday over there. So let me just go on and add it over there. Let's say this is my birthday. And now this time, instead of int, I want to add a date. Birth date, of course, is going to be date. So when this is going to be date, this will be automatically in the date over there. And what is that date? Just go on. This is the numeric data types. I just told you about int over there. You already are familiar with these data types because of your C language over there. There is a float as well. Kindly go through this float, float p, and this double over there. You already are familiar with this float and double. You can go through the sizes over there. Normally, you're only going to use this float or you're going to use this double. The remainings are not that much important. Date and that time. That's very important. If you're talking about a date, then the supported range is from this point to this point, and this is just the date, which means you are from 1000, of course, BC or AD, whatever is that, and that is 1st January, first month over there, to 1000 over there. And that is after, of course, before, after the death of the Christ over there. So this is something from here to here point. So you have the date. If you are talking about date time, I will use this one as well. This is over here in the format of YYY. This is the year dash month dash date, and then hour, minutes, and second. So this is over there. And I will use this one just now. Let's wait on this one. So what I'm going to do it, birthday, date, that will be added. Now, after this thing, let's say I want to add another column over there after this birthday. I want to add, let's say I want to add let's say I want to add the education over there. Let's say I want to add an education part over there. And let's say I want to add an education. And for this purpose, again, a variable character. So whatever it's coming as Lahore, Karachi or something, that will be added. And supposedly it's a 10 word value, 10 character, sorry, word. The last thing I want to add it, that date entered. I want to see that when this column or when this row was entered. So for that purpose here, I'm going to call it, instead of date, I'm going to call it date time. When I'm going to quit date time, because I now need to not only just save date, I want to save date and time both. And here in attributes column, uh, on update. See, remember, on update current timestamp. So what I will do it, when this will be added, this will be, when it will be updated, this will be having, so by default, I can call it current timestamp. This will be by default, it will be current. I'm not going to send this column. Remember, I'm not going to send this column. So this will be date entered, current underscore timestamp, and attributes are on current time. You can even empty it, nobody on this. This will be always a current timestamp. But if you click on this one, even if you update it, it will be again changed. So this will be on update current timestamp. Now, when you have done this, this will be the date entered over there. This is the education over there, and this is the birthday. Now this comments are there if you want to just make your name of your columns simply, but here I have used first name, last name, birthday, and all that. So this is something, first name of, you can call it the user, and this is the last name of the user, and this is the birthday of the user, this is the education of the user, date entered, data enter, actually this will be data entered by the user. And now when I've done this thing, I will click on save, and this now makes a table. Now you can see when a table is created, now you can see over there what is there. ID is this, and you can see a key over there. This is why it's called a primary key, which means that the value will be saved over there. Int 2, which means it's 2 bytes, variable character 30, last name 30, date over there, education, variable character. And here you can see these are the comments. I already know about the comments I've added over there. Default is current timestamp, which means whatever that time it was entered over there. So on update current timestamp, whenever it is updated, it can be updated also. So all these values are now going to be saved over there. Now let's go on the how this connection is going to be done. Very importantly, now these commands which I'm going to just show you now are fixed over there. Now what is going to happen? Now see this thing. First thing, you have to create a connection with your database. My table is created. I don't need to do anything. What I've done, I've created a database named test3, and inside it there is a table called as, let's just confirm it out now, please. Over here, the table name is forms. So I just need to enter a data inside forms over there. And that is over there, this form. So what I'm going to happen, this command or this line is again a variable con. You can call it a connection, just a short form of connection. New here is the reserve word, and MySQLi is a function. You can see it. It's a function inside it's a class, and you are taking a new object of that class over there. You still are not aware of this class and object thing. So just like class, section A, section B, section C, they are the classes, and you are an object of that class. So it's just like the same thing. So MySQLi is a class, and you are creating an object con over there having these functions, which means this is the server name, which I've already used it as a username. This is the password, and this is the database name. So this variable is now going to be used to connect it as using this particular. So just like a student has a particular called as this student has some, this marks in FSC, this marks in something, this marks in your A level, this marks in your physics or something, and all those of them make you a part of that class. That is section A, B, C, or D, or whatever your section may be. So here, this con over here is an object of the class MySQLi with this credential, that is a server name, and it is going to connect it with that server name. Server name is localhost, username is root, password is just like your Instagram or Facebook password. This is empty, so this is just an empty part, and DB name is the test3. So when you have this con over there, this is created. Now when this is created, the next thing, because I have created these four variables over there, and they are going to connect with my database because over there. Next thing, the first thing you have to do it, if this con, if this object, this connect underscore error. Now this is a part of a function. This is again a part of a function. If this is going to connect to this thing and there is an error, then this is going to be an error underscore log that there is a connection error over there. These lines are fixed over there. You can see these lines inside your PHP code over there as well. You can see over there exactly the same thing over there being presented over there, or you can see exactly the same thing. This is the con, just like simple over there, and this is that over there. So if con is not there, not symbol, con, so this is die command. Die command means connection failed, and you just print out the error over there. This is just a function over there. But here inside my code, what I have done over there, exactly the same thing, nothing fancy over there. I'm just putting error log, because what I have done over there, you can see I am displaying all the errors. That's why I am putting error log, and inside it I am putting connection error, and then dot operator, just for like the string operator, I have the connect underscore error. So whatever that error is, that will be printed if it is not connected, which means my database, if it is not connected. So if this if command does not run, then it will be printing echo connected. So this is connected. And that's why whenever I was making a table over there, let's just see, you are going to see a create connected word over there. So that connected word was over there. So that's why it was going to print that connected word over there inside it over there. So this connected word is always printed over there. Then afterwards, the next thing, very important. Now these I have commented using this multi-line comments over there. So I'm not going to talk about that one over there. But here I want to enter a command. So what I'm going to do now, let's say I am putting a new command. Let's say I just make this multi-line comments. Now, very importantly, what I'm going to do, very simply, let's see. I'm going to again a variable, insert into table name. What is the table name? Forms. Very important. Then, now inside my, let's go on the database again. And inside my database, you have the ID, you have the first name, you have the last name, birthday. Now I only want to enter the first name, last name, birthday, and education. The rest ID will be automatically incremented because this is auto incremented. Date entered will be automatically entered because of the current timestamp. So I don't need only need to enter 1, 2, 3, 4 because I've only selected 4. If you're going to practice it for more columns, then it will be easy for you. First name, last name, birthday, and education. Now these names have to be exactly same with the spaces. This is very important. And very importantly, I'm again repeating, very importantly, inside this thing, this is the first name, this is the middle name. And remember, this symbol which I'm highlighting at present, this is the symbol just beside your one over there. That is that dash mark over there. beside one on your keyboard. This symbol over there has to be used. This is not the single quotes or double quotes over there. This is a totally different symbol being used over there, and here this has to be used. If you use any other thing, this will not be done over there. So you have over here insert inside double quotes again. This is a string statement. Insert into forms, first name, middle name. I guess I don't have a middle name actually. Let me just confirm it out. Okay, first name, last name, birthday, and education. So I have first name. Let me just change it over there. First name. I don't have the. I have only have the last name over there. So I have the last name, and afterwards you can see I'm now putting it birthday, and I have then the. I guess after sorry on that one. I'm ultimately thing is education. So I have the education, and that's all. I have the four column. So I have just have first name, last name, birthday. Please remember the capitals, the small spaces have to be kept exactly. Now I just have put them inside two lines. I have just put an enter over there so that they are in accordance over there or vertically. Otherwise, you can even have them like this. It's totally up to you. So insert into forms again inside this over there, this symbol, and then afterwards values. After this values, again brackets open, and here you are going to give that name. First name, dollar $f name, because my first name was coming in f name. Last name was coming in l name. Of course, that has to be l name. So instead of m name, this will be l name. Then afterwards, birthday. Where is birthday? Birthday is over here in this part. So this is going to be dollar birthday. So let me just copy this dollar birthday from here. And here inside dollar, instead of this one, this will be dollar birthday. Then again, comma. And now this time this is single quotes. Remember, this is single quotes. Education. What is my education variable? That is dollar $edu. So I will just copy this dollar $edu. And this is dollar $edu and like this. That's all. So what will happen? This SQL command is between two inverted double quotes, and over here insert into, this is insert into, that is data is going to be inserted into the database already connected. Table name is forms, and inside this thing brackets over there, the parentheses, you have the column names, the four column names, the ones which you don't want to add, totally empty. Over here values, f name, l name, birthday, edu, and save this file. Afterwards, what you're going to do, when you have done this, still this is a variable now. Now what you're going to do it, con, do a function, query. This is a query. This is a query. You are doing it using your variable con, because con is a variable that was created to connection to the database. And this is a query with SQL. And if this comes out to be true, you can see now what is happening. These are three equal to marks. So this is going to check if it is true. So if this thing comes out to be true and this comes out to be true, this will be printing new record created successfully. Else, if does not happens, then it will be fail and the error will be printed. That is actually again dot operator is being used over there. You can see the SQL and that con error. That's all. And when this is done, this is else command. If it is not run over there or whatever happens, then afterwards close the connection with your database, because your database is something very, very important. It has to be closed. That's why you have a username and password over there in this case. And similarly, you have to close the connection. Just like you started a connection over here by using this thing, and you check the error if it is connected or not. If it is connected, well and good, no problems. And then afterwards, you are putting inside your database this form. So now save this file, go back on your, sorry, this one and the form. Let's just me refresh this page over there. Let me just take out this thing, and now I'm going to enter something. Let's see this happens, or this at present my database is empty. Why empty? Because this is my structure. If I click on browse, you can see ID, first name, last name, birthday, education, date enter, all of these are empty. There is no data inside it. There is nothing. Now I'm going to put some data inside it. Arslan A Rahim. And let's say CNIC, I just want to, sorry, on this one, I just want to enter something 35202. Here, I just want to enter something, my exact date of birth. Let's say this is, actually, this is 17th. Okay, this is one actually. I have the date of birth is over here. And let's say I want to just enter 2000. So I was born on 17 December, and my city is Lahore. My education is graduation. I have a car owned as such as Honda, and I want to select my favorite color, that is blue, and I just want to just think I love Pakistan. So I have this thing. Now when I'm not selecting any file because I'm not doing any something with this. Now when I click on submit button, this will open that PHP file. Okay, this is connected over here. This means that, sorry, my database is connected. Okay, sorry. Database, sorry, I have to again submit the file. It's okay. So you can see now my XYZ, my M name, L name, nothing is being printed over there. But at the very same time, so okay, I guess everything is lost. I have to submit my file again because I guess the uh, browser was okay. This way you can see there was an error over there. Sometimes this happens over there. So I have this my name entered because I need to enter this last name over there. I am from Lahore. Let's say I'm from Lahore. I have the graduation degree, and let's say I want to enter 12. I have the 17, and I have like 2000 over there. Let's say, sorry, 2000. And I have the let's say blue color selected. I have the Honda over there, and inside this one I love Pakistan. So I have this one, and I have added this thing. Now when I will click submit, you can see now what is happening. I have this variables entered, all this value is there, it is connected, but there is a fatal error. You can see what is an error. These errors are being printed, so there is some error. And what is the error over there? This error is at line number 149. Okay, so there is some error which I'm doing over there, and this is not entering. Now let's see, go back on our code, and what is that? And this is the error that SQL is not putting some error values over there, and this is not printing. So there is an error, and that error is being printed. Let's see, just go back on the form over there, and these errors will be there. You have an error in your syntax. Check the manual that corresponds to your manual. Education. Okay, I guess I have the values. Education. Okay, I guess I have not given in the right order or something. Birthday, education. I guess if I've not done something wrong with the spellings, let's just confirm it on there. Birthday, education, date entered, birthday, date, education, data entered by the user, birthday, sorry, date entered, last name. I guess if I've not done something wrong, I guess. Mm, okay, yes, you can see now what has happened. What error I have done. I guess the same thing which I was telling you, I've done the very same error. You can see birthday, it is between these two symbols, which was I will just tell you this symbol name. I guess I always, but this education is not with that symbol. I have used a single quote, so that's wrong. So that's why it's giving me an error. So what I've done it changed. Remember, these values inside this parenthesis have to be using this symbol, and also same thing for this thing. But here single quotes are there. These ones are very important, and they have to be for this forms and this thing. So when I save it, now, what I can do now, go back instead of I can submit this form again. Let's say I can submit this form. You can see new record created successfully. So let's go back on the database. I have to refresh it. So for that purpose, let's say I click on browse again, and now I have my data. You can see now unique ID is 1, Arslan name, first name, last name, birthday 17/12/2000. Of course, this is not my birth date. I'm not just 25 or 26 years old. Education is graduation. Date entered 2026 6. And this is the time 11:35 at which I am entering this file. So this is the date over there. Now, let me just add something data. Let's say I want to add something data. Let's do it for Imran Khan. Let's say uh, Imran Khan and Nazi. Uh, if anyone knows his date of birth, I just don't remember it. I guess it was somewhere in November or something like that. Maybe it was in somewhere in November. I may be wrong, something like that. Somewhere, let's say it was in 20, and he's like something like 74 years or something like that. So this means he's born somewhere at like something 1950s, something like that. Let's say 54. So based on that, 1954. Okay. Okay. He's born in Lahore. He has a graduation, of course. He may be having maybe something Hyundai or something, and his favorite color is like a pink, but something like that. And he loves PTI. So whatever there. So when I submitted this form, now this form, let's just say some data, but this is not important because that's not going to data. And I submit this form now. New record again has been created. Welcome Imran Khan Niazi, and that is done. And now if I go back, again click on browse, you can see now ID is automatically incrementing. ID is automatically incrementing over there. First name Imran, last name Niazi, birth date, this one, education, graduation, that date entered. That is that actually the comment is wrong over there. The data entered by the user actually should be the date at which the data is entered. So 2026, this one. So you can see every time you are submitting it, uh, value is being created. You can click on again, you can see auto incrementing. So this is the database connection, and every time your database. But remember, this can only work if you have the localhost slash PHP my admin working over there. So this is that PHP file over there, and this PHP file is just this file over there. Remember, I have just commented out this thing because I'm not entering into any other file over there or any other over there. I'm just entering, I have just made a new table inside a new database here in test3. Your case would be that your database name would be something different. Your root and password would be exactly the same if you have installed it just now. In the next video, I will tell you how this thing can be changed, this root and username and password. And this server name will be how different on a live server on HTTP. I will show you my live example from my own website server, and I will show you because this is just a local host. So this is all for this part. I hope you have learned something from here, and you can see now that you can create a new database over there and you can create a new structure. Kindly go through this thing, the date and data types over there, these MySQL data types. Please, you don't need to go through the statements of these all. You only need to go through the MySQL data types or on this link over there. This is the same unsigned or signed over there, the same things over there. And you don't need to go through all this thing because this is a totally different language. If you want to go through it, we are connecting it through digitally through a PHP page, so this is no need of doing it. The only thing I need want you to do it is this PHP connect to MySQL database, and this is exactly the same thing which I have done over there in my code. And then when you have done it, you can insert the data. If you click on this insert data, I have done exactly the same thing. You can see $SQL insert into this values, this. You can use without it as well, but normally that gives an error every time over there. So that's why I'm using that symbol over there. That is just on the equal to, approximate symbol over there. So I'm using this one, first name, last name, email over there. So new record has been created successfully and connection. Please remember always to close the connection because that is much important over there. Similarly, this is the procedure. So just some change over there. Other than that, so I am inserting a data inside my database. We are not talking about this PDO over there, so that's not important. Okay. I hope this was okay. I will upload this MySQL database over there. And remember one thing, if you want to have your database over there, this is the database over there. And if you want to have your database, like this is a database, and now you want to take it to some other computer over there, that can also be done. If you go on your over there, you can have this database exported or imported, and that can be done by export, which means you are going to export rows from a forms table, and you are going to export it as a SQL, as a CSV file or Excel file or something like that. If you want to export it as an Excel file, then it and click on export. So dump all rows, which means all the rows will be taken up from this database, made into an SQL file, and then you are going to, and it's downloaded in my browser as form-2.sql because there is already one form over there. That's why it has already incremented it as -1 or -2. Okay. Plus, you can use some templates as well, but that's not important. I'm just having that rows. I'm why I'm telling you this thing because sometimes you need your database to be shifted from one computer to another. So that can be done over there. So I hope this was okay for you, and I hope this is working for you. Thank you all, and I hope this was learning for you.